Ethan Kozauer. Good evening, everyone. The 2024 Marshall Chess Club Championship has just begun in New York City. The first round is now underway. I will be your host throughout the event. I am International Master Luis Henrique Coelho from Brazil. This year's tournament, which is also called the 108th Edward Lasker Memorial, has the participation of Andrew Tang and Brendan Jacobson, both of these amazing young players. I was so excited when I saw that Brendan Jacobson registered for the event. I knew Andrew Tang was going to play, and I only had the confirmation like 24 hours prior to the event that Brendan Jacobson would join the fray, and he's actually the number one seed, 21-year-old sensation Brendan Jacobson, rated very close to 2,600, is the number one seed of the tournament. We will try to take a look at as many games as possible, but we were waiting for the first few moves to be relayed to begin the broadcast, and we are going to begin with board number 2, where Andrew Tang is playing the black pieces against James Marsh, rated 2,040. The game has begun with d4, d5, c4, e6, knight to c3, knight to f6, c takes d5, e takes d5. So Andrew Tang, despite the fact that he is an amazingly creative player in the middle game, he's not someone who likes to fool around too much in the opening. I don't know exactly why that is, because usually most players with this profile of being unpredictable, of being super creative, they like to play openings that reflect that style very well. But there's something about Andrew Tang where maybe he's so confident in his ability to create imbalances and to drive his opponents crazy in the middle game that it doesn't seem that he's very much concerned with playing the opening in a wild way. And But I am a big fan of his style. I'm a big fan of his style, to be very honest. And one of the things we're going to do throughout this broadcast, which is going to be a first. I mean, we've been doing several of these broadcasts in partnership with the Marshall Chess Club for the last few years, but we will, for the first time, have interviews with the players after the games are over, and this is just gonna be something. This is gonna be something. That's quite a treat for me, to be honest. I've been playing chess for 28 years, guys. So, and playing chess tournaments is just like my mother tongue. It's my natural habitat. And whenever I spend 3, 4, 5 hours looking at one game live, it's almost like I can teletransport myself to the playing hall and start thinking to myself, what would I do in his shoes? How would I be approaching this problem? What would be I attempting to create in order to confuse my opponent or to simply outfox him? And it's going to be quite a treat for all of us that it's going to be possible to talk to the players after the fact in the main games at the top boards and pick their brains a little bit on why you went this way and not that way. Why did you play the A move and not the B move? So after bishop g5, Andrew Tang plays the bishop to b4, and this is what is known as the Rogozin variation of the Queen's Gambit declined. We could say that the Rogozin adds a little bit of spice to the Queen's Gambit declined. It's not as solid as the so-called orthodox versions of the Queen's Gambit declined. Yes, and now h6. h6 has been played by Andrew Tang. Bishop to h4. So usually with the Rogozin variation as black, the idea of playing g5, attacking the white bishop, and then continuing with knight e4, putting more pressure on c3, creating problems on this diagonal here. This is way more common in the Rogozin variation rather than in other variations of the Queen's Gambit. So especially given the fact that Andrew Tang certainly wants to play for a win with the black pieces here, he just might go for it to complicate things, to complicate matters early on. We'll see if that's going to be the case. For the moment being, we're going to stop here in this game on move number 7. We'll see if Andrew Tang is going to play g5 or not. I'm thinking that he will. In the meanwhile, I'm going to open up the opening book in a different window here, I'm curious to know whether g5 is the main move actually in that position for black, and the answer is no. It's the second most popular move. So I'm talking about this position, and c5 is the #1 choice. And then g5 is number 2, kingside castling is number 3, knight bd7 is number 4, and all 4 of these moves have been played dozens and dozens of times by very strong players in classical format. So certainly all 4 moves are sound. I see, I see. Well, I have to make that change. Oh, that is a noob mistake.